Hello, I'm on the wine as usual, but here this video is going to be about the gym and the general logic of gym goers and maybe why they're like that. Like, there's not going to be much in it, but I'll focus on two things. So the first thing is like the mentality of the you know judging panel of the gym. Everybody goes to the gym, they judge their own form so they can know if they're improving or doing the exercise right, avoiding injury, whatever, right? And they hold themselves to standards. They have some sort of image in their mind of what a good, say, bench press, shoulder press, squat, or deadlift is, right? And then they compare. Obviously, if they want to get stronger, they'll get stronger, but there comes a time when they're pushing, maybe their form will break because they're getting closer to 1 rep max. The body just learns to make it easier, right? So they have two choices at this. They can either continue deteriorating the form so they can lift more and put themselves at risk, or they can lower the weight and do it with correct form, right? And then they'll want to, say, compare their standard of the bench press. They say they bench 100 kilograms and see if that's heavy or not to someone else's or just to general strength norms. And then they'll go on to YouTube and they'll see somebody benching 120 and they'll have a 5 million foot arch. They look like McDonald's, golden arches while they're bench pressing. And they've a very wide grip or whatever. And then, they'll think, well, if I had an arch that size and bounced it off my chest that much and widened my grip that much and wore elbow sleeves, I would probably bench such and such a weight, let's say 130, an extra 20-30%, right? But if you criticize a person on the internet for their form, holding them to standards, the first thing they do is, what do you bench? Post your lifts. As if, it changes anything. It's like you have to be tall in order to assess someone's height. If you're short and you want to see if somebody's taller than you, you get a ruler out and measure it. But the person is like saying, no, you're not tall. You can't see someone's taller than you. You can't use the ruler. You can't hold people to a height standard because you're short. Like, where's the logic in that? Oh, that's hard to cope with. And 99% of gym goers are like that. It's, I don't know. It's just something you want to put a gun in your head and blow your brains out over just thinking about it, trying to understand the stupidity of it. Right, so that's the first thing they say is, what do you lift? So that's the first, what is it? Golden boy attitude. Halo effect attitude towards the old gym. So you have that. What do you lift? And then the next one is, oh, you can't criticize him. He's strong. Like somebody will bench press, the old Russian lifter, I can't remember his name. I never remember his name. He used to hold the bench press world record of 335 kilograms. And then there's this new chap come along and he's about 50 kilograms heavier. He's monstrously obese. And he benches the 365 kilograms or something. But if you criticize the new bench press of this new record as not being comparable and not as good as the old Russian record, people are started attacking you. How dare you criticize this man? Look at the weight he's lifting. You can't criticize somebody who lifts heavy weights. Same with the sumo deadlift. 500 kilograms. He moves at 2 inches. Just because it's heavy, therefore they have a halo effect and cannot be criticized. Where is the logic in that? That's like saying if you're a sprinter and if you reach a certain speed, therefore you get to wear different shoes that allow you to run faster and run in soft, spongier tracks that boost you along and put flubber on your shoes. You know, you reach this level of speed, and then all of a sudden you can, you know, put an engine in your legs, you know. Or a cyclist, you know, if you can hold 30 mile an hour for 5 minutes on a bike, therefore you get to put an engine in your bike and, you know, beat everyone in the Tour de France. That's the mentality of that. You know, there's just like a level where you can reach, therefore you can break all the rules. That is the mentality of 95% of people who go to the gym. You know, and you know, the new bench press is nowhere near as good as the old record because it flings off his chest, whereas the old one was very strict. So there's definitely a good 30 kilograms being gained from that bounce off the chest. So it's just embarrassing. People lose interest in this approach to sport because it just gives off low GCA, low general cognitive ability. It just stinks of underclass mentality of if you've ever gone to school with tracking, it stinks of the bottom class where people don't study, they just go around the school litter picking. That's their mentality. And that's 99% of people who go to the gym. You know, and I've heard the gym is like a lower class thing. Now it's like got bigger, like middle class go, because obviously the health benefits, you can't deny them, so everybody goes now, but it's still got an underclass mentality. Like, it's got an average IQ of 70 mentality of people who just don't like standards and have a brutish mentality of like a hog, like a bear, and that's it. And they scare away intelligent people. Like, that's why people, like, I go to the gym, right? And, you know, I don't like to talk about, like, I never really like talking about the gym anymore. I used to when I was younger, but I don't anymore because it just stinks of stupidity. It makes you, like, I don't like having muscles. Like, when I buy a t-shirt, this t-shirt here, right, is 3XL. Like, I look fat, like, I'm a bit fat in it. But there's no, I just look like a normal standard fat chap. Right? But I could, like, get stuff in and, like, get my arms out and then, you know, like 16 maybe 8 arms, right? I could wear tight clothes, but, you know, a lot of people go to the gym to show off their muscles because we're living in this fast life history strategy, ecology of low IQ people everywhere. And women, you know, selecting for the genetic junk. Yeah. So you get all these men, like, you know, taking steroids and stuff. But, you know, it just stinks of low IQ, so I just don't do it. I go to the gym and cover up. And the reason for that is because the people who go to the gym give people who go to the gym a bad reputation. They just, like, it's sad. Like, if you're really smart and you've got muscles, people are going to think you're stupid just because you're big and muscly. You know. And so that I think that the explanation of this behavior and this mentality is purely genetic. It's purely IQ. It attracts people who are fast life history strategists who try to pull women based on muscles, and low IQ women will like that. And the second part of it is the testosterone. Maybe they're on steroids. The steroid stops them from thinking. Yeah. But I'm not sure about that part because, you know, geniuses tend to have high testosterone as well, so it doesn't stop them from thinking. And that's it. Like, you know, what can you do? That's why, like, powerlifting will never be in the Olympics. It's got these people and this mentality. Even the people in the federations of powerlifting have this mentality of, like, lack of standards. And powerlifting started off because Olympic lifting was elitist. But, you know, at least Olympic lifting, it has standards, it sticks to them, and they're very strict. And lifts are comparable. They even got rid of the press because it was hard to compare one person's press to another. One person would lean back, it's the wine, lean back more than the other, or they would get a hip thrust sort of standing, and they just didn't like the fact that the lifts weren't comparable. That shows a level of intellect and self-control and objective selflessness that is required to have a sport that is, you know, idealistic and pure and respectable. You need those types of objective, selfless people in control of the sport which is what bodybuilding, I don't know, but definitely powerlifting and the average gym goer don't have. They don't have this, you know. And that's why the gym is like low class still.